On the Rave! Hello, ladies and gentlemen of the internet. My name is Gav.
I'm still Addie, just.
He's just about Addie. And you tuned into the On the Rave podcast, the post-res On the Rave podcast. So you've got a couple of delicate hosts to put up with this week. Addie, how's it going?
It's fragile.
It's fragile.
It's better than yesterday, but not as good as tomorrow.
Oh, I think today I was the worst I've been in these last few days. Like Monday morning, I don't know, I just managed to survive Monday, but this morning
Monday was alright, I was still pissed for most of it.
Oh no, my body just knew it was in bother on Monday.
I didn't go to sleep until like 1 o'clock on Monday morning anyways.
What, from going to the rave?
Yeah.
You've just got more energy than me, mate.
From 5 o'clock on Saturday morning.
Oh, dear.
It was a long one.
Oh, yeah, well, it's been a great weekend. We got up to Res. We just had WrestleMania weekends, you know. Everything's all good. And we'll start the podcast the same way we always start the podcast, with a little bit of Ravers choice. Addie's selected a Res theme tune yet again, probably the standout set from the night.
Yes, well, it very much was, and what a way to open.
Yeah.
Paul absolutely smashed it.
Yeah, he was absolutely amazing. There was loads of good stuff. We'll probably talk about it all fucking time, all the way through the show today. Like, so.
Yeah. We're really sorry to everyone else that put suggestions up. There was a lot of good selections this week, but Facebook was decided to wipe them all, so we got left with one.
Yeah,
which was, I mean, it's good for the whole DJ Paul thing. We can speak about that, but feel free to post again next time because there was a lot of good posts.
Yeah, Facebook just decided to wipe them clean for some reason. It does that every now and again. So, Addie, I understand you've selected a tune. Do you want to tell everyone what the tune is, and then we'll get it on?
I sure have, and it was suggested by Alex Q again. Yeah. Surprisingly, it's not Limewax.
It's not Limewax.
It's DJ Paul Ikhaji.
Mint sound. Let's go.
I'll let you stay alive for now. But not if I see you again. Man, you are one pathetic loser.
Fuck you, fuck you, fuck 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 you, 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 fuck you.
remind me to whoop your ass good next time I see you.
There's no like starting a rave podcast with a little bit of rave. That was DJ Paul, and it had a very, very Dutch name. How do you pronounce it with phlegm?
Ik had G.
Cool banging tunes. Thank you, Q, for suggesting something. We'll quickly remind everybody that you can catch us at On The Rave on Facebook. You can catch us at On The Rave on Twitter. You can catch us on Instagram.
It's my fucking
On
favourite.
The Rave with Addie and Gav. We're on Spotify, iTunes, and Podbean these days, so you can find us absolutely all over the shop.
Fucking place. People whinging that they can't find us. We're on everything.
We're on absolutely everything. We're on Patreon as well these
If you
days.
want to fucking send us 50 pence for a pinger.
So, like 50 pence for a pinger.
Don't remember the Glade when we had 50 pence pingers with Chop Chop?
Oh my lord, I do recall them now. Blow my neck. Right, okay. Well, what we'll do is we'll crack on because, Addy, guess what?
What?
We've got another one of those guests on the show.
Oh, someone subject themselves to our fucking Indian banter today.
Yeah, we've managed to drag another one of Newcastle's musical elite down to the house in We're back in Piker again. You can probably tell by the wailing sirens in the background and the kids all going, "Yeah, ma, there's blah." Screaming and shouting, but we've got Idene in the house of Idene. How's it going?
Very well, thank you.
Thank you. Mint. Yeah, it's good to have you on.
Thanks.
Do you want to tell everyone a little bit about what you do in the world of music and other?
Well, right now I'm doing a band called Ape with Mario Malki from Barcelona and Sebastian Sendon, who's also in Barcelona as a guitars. Prior to that, I was in TOOMS, which was signed to Industrial Strength.
Yeah.
I still do the odd piece here and there for ISR. Prior to TOOMS, it was Blunt Trauma, which went from like 2001 maybe to like 2007-8.
Yeah.
A long time, like
Yeah.
so
I remember you from both those two early ones, and seeing you doing TOOMS gigs as well. Like,
Yeah.
So.
I still found two of my TOOMS t-shirts, which was far too big for us in the house the other day.
Oh, mint.
Get it.
You're forever finding them. It's because
Yeah.
you're half the man you were a year ago, mate.
Yes.
Like not in stature, just in size.
Not
Just in size.
arrogance, just not angry.
Oh, he's still the habitual line stepper. Like
Fucking definitely after
no one's
things.
getting rid of that tinker element from him. Like
After Saturday,
after Saturday, habitually stepping on all of the res lines.
all of the res lines and all the after party lines, I was all sorts of shenanigans.
Oh, he just causing bother you is. Well, we'll crack straight on and we'll actually do a little bit of chat for this podcast.
Right.
So, first section's when we'll talk about your early influences. So, who played the music in the house? What sort of music was being played?
I didn't really have that sort of thing going on. Like, I had a bunch of records that my ma had, which was like Madonna and Roxette and like Erasure. And that was like the vinyls that was just in the house.
Yeah.
Aye. And then when I was younger, I used to go down to the library, and they used to have like a record collection. You could hire out like 50 pence for a vinyl or a cassette and stuff like that. This is like 1992 or something.
Right.
And that's where I would go and find stuff. So I would normally just pick it off the album cover. Yeah, if I thought it looked cool or something, I would just get it.
Yeah.
Didn't know what was on it.
So you just picked the ones that were particularly pretty without
I think
knowing
that
what
was
tunes were.
that happened to a lot of people in back in the day when you just didn't know. You just go to a record shop and just be like, "That one looks cool. I'll just take that."
Yeah. Whichever one. Like, I think I've been taken in. I've definitely probably looked at something and went, "Oh, you know what, I'm going to buy that because of the cover." Like, just because it's pretty. Like,
Yeah.
Was that in South Shields, you said?
Yeah, it was in South Shields. South Shields Library. That
Right.
had a small selection, an old BBC micro or something to search for, but that was all I had was just that little collection of tunes.
Yeah.
But I had a good metal section. I turned out later on down the line, and I actually knew what I was looking for and kind of went looking for particular things.
Maybe the covers of them weren't quite as appealing to a younger man.
The other were good covers. They had like Slayer and everything in there.
Sweet.
And it was like the cover of Censor, which is the reason. I don't know if I put that as the first track to that.
It is.
Aye, so the first track that I put down, Censor, was because of the album cover. It was on a cassette that I had,
Right.
and it was, when you first put that
Tapes.
on.
Was that
yeah,
tape from the library?
tape from the library. Aye.
Oh, mint.
Wow, I wish I still had it.
I don't remember our library having like records and vinyls.
I remember it having tapes.
It had VHSs. The one in Killy had VHSs.
Right.
I don't know if they just didn't trust for records and stuff like that. Like,
Come back
like-
scratched.
yeah, probably.
Aye. But I had Anthrax. I had a couple of Anthrax records that I got purely because I went to the local hippie shop, bought a pin badge, you got on a tie, and it was like just like some cool lead pin badge thing, right? It was like a clock with skulls on it and had Anthrax written underneath it. It was like, wow, mind blown. Like at 12, 13, it's like fucking right.
Yeah,
So,
just something little and cool.
Just something little and cool. And I bought, my own money and everything, and then I went into the library and that album was there. That pin badge was on an album, so I got the album.
Mint.
And
Did you even know who the badge were when you bought it?
Nah.
There you go then.
I know.
It's obviously meant to happen.
Music
when you have
discovery.
circumstances like that. Fate. Hey, it's funny that your early influences was the local library.
Aye,
It's
pretty
mad
much.
to think that they had like that sort of swing on you.
Yeah.
You know, it was my dad who played the music in my house, but yeah, and the radio as well.
Right.
We had radio on all
Yeah,
the time. So what was there, like the old record player, or
It was one of those like stack things.
like the 90s stacks in a
Yeah, 90 stack.
Yeah.
Two tapes, CD player, and the record player at the top.
was it
We
one of the
used to press
shine?
the button that automatically does that.
Oh,
Yeah.
They had the
Yeah.
automatic drop.
Aye.
Oh, nice. No, I always quite like the actual
Yeah.
movement of doing it myself, but there was something about pressing the button
Yeah.
and
It was cool.
watching it drop.
It was massive.
Yeah, they were
They
all
were
huge.
huge, aye.
Huge.
Flick between a 7 and a 12 inch, so it knows where to drop.
Yeah, you had to tell it what speed to put it on, so
Yeah.
it knew where to actually put the thing.
I had the speed thing. I didn't have the where it would drop.
Yeah.
That must be like high tech.
On very low tech.
Oh, aye.
Very low
probably.
tech.
It was actually just supposed to try and put it on at the start, but it jumped into the middle of the thing.
Aye.
Something like that. Technologies like that. There was an old wooden one in. There was this old wooden sort of stand in a charity shop I was in the other day, and it was like quite low to the deck, and I wasn't quite sure what it was, and went over and had a look, and it was like an absolutely ancient stack.
Aye.
But it was all like in this weird veneered box that had the speakers built into it. And it reminds us of that sort of like all in one
Yeah.
sort of thing. Like, was it in a glass cabinet? Were you actually allowed in it as well?
It wasn't a glass cabinet, but it was like you had a big dial for the volume, and it had like display and everything, like crystal display.
One of those little radio, the tuner.
Oh, I had a
things.
radio as well, yeah, it did.
Yeah.
Aye, but it wasn't like a separate. It was just all one big unit with
One
two
big
massive
stack.
speakers next to it.
Yeah, a big
Aye,
stack,
it
not
was
separate.
Huge.
Yeah.
When you think back, like now
Some of them probably have some right good royal sound on. Some of them will probably be mint.
Yeah.
CD player versions of them anyway.
Oh, you'll probably get to it. You never know. You'll probably get versions these days that have just got like MP3 inputs and stuff like that. Do people even bother with MP3 inputs, or just a headphone jack? Probably just a headphone jack these days.
Aye.
From your phone, Bluetooth.
Yeah.
Aye. Lowers the quality of the Bluetooth. Like, I'd always go with a headphone jack. You just don't get to play with your phone at the same time, do you? Right, sound. Well, the tune you've chose is a sensor tune.
Yeah, it is.
What is it about this tune that stands out?
It was the first tune for me where like I'd basically been kind of getting into metal, right? And I'd basically seen like we call them Faith No More, right? On Top of the Pops,
Right.
doing Digging a Grave,
Right.
that song on Top of the Pops. I remember that just blew my mind. It was like, wow, this song's amazing. There was no internet, you couldn't go and find Faith No More again after that, you know.
Yeah.
But then I went to the library and picked that up, and because of the cover, it was like this like X-ray hand on the cover. I thought, wow, that's cool. Get that cassette, like, get in there, yeah, sweet. Put in my tape player at home, and then when you hear it, it's just like it's the mix of the guitars and the breakbeats and all the electronics, because that wasn't what I was listening to.
Yeah.
It was just something else, and I was like, what the fuck is this?
What, just because it was so different and
Yeah,
really
it's so
stood out?
different, aye.
Right, mint.
Right.
Well, I see no better reason than to whack it on.
Yep.
So for the first track on the On The Road podcast this time out, this is Sensor with State of Mind.
Want me no scenery, no part of the machinery. I go on and on the level below. So now you see me and know you can take it and go. Cause I'm so bored that I can't even pretend no more. It's so pathetic that I'm rolling around on the floor laughing at one big gag. And every now and then I pull another rabbit out of the bag of sad diversions. The useless, tedious excursions roll into unrealistic, crypto-fascistic comedy doctrine. Kick the ballistics again and again and again. Just say when you're had enough, sad enough, I'm mad enough to do something civil and kind. Now's the time, a change of state of mind. Just so they can go to try again. On the next step, on the next one. Come on and get some jet, some static. Solid state, automatic, sporadic and random. Cause nobody planned them. Anarchy, free thought, can't be bored. So disregard the lessons and the shit you've been taught. I'm saying it, and now they're playing it to me larger than life every day. And this is what they say.
Shut your mouth and get back in line. And if you don't like it, well, it suits us just fine. We pull the levers, we hold the strings. And these are just a few of our favourite things. Learn the words of the company song. Right is right, is right is wrong. Come on, children, all sing along. Cause if you think you can change, you were never more wrong.
No, fuck that, you won't take me, you won't break me, and you'll never make me step in line or step much in time. When you can violate my body, but my soul is still mine. You must think that I'm fucking stupid, man. If you think I'm gonna hang with a program, some full schedule, I don't give a shit about what is or what isn't cool. I make the rules, I stand alone. And if they try to leave them hanging on the telephone, one of these days I'm gonna get sectioned. I bet they even say it's for my own protection. Rejection leads straight to correction. Look out, here comes a strange injection. They got a drug to numb my erection, but they won't take this from me. My state of mind, it won't change me. My state of mind. State of mind. Don't change nothing. State of mind.
There we have it.
It's a belter.
Yeah, there we go. That was Sensor and that was State of Mind. What we'll do, we'll just swiftly toddle
on.
We'll just swiftly toddle straight on to the section that we call Finding Your Own Feet. So, after, I mean, obviously your early influences was sort of when you were finding your own feet, if you were picking your music yourself out of the library, but when you started, like, knowing what you were looking for, what sort of people stood out to you then? Or what sort of music stood out to you then?
It was all heavy, like pretty much all metal at the time, and I basically was listening to a lot of Offspring, and I mean it's not heavy or metal, but it was what led to me listening to more harder stuff.
Offshoot.
Yeah, like an offshoot.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you start off with like one genre, and that kind of propagates it to the next genre,
yeah.
and you kind of go from the Offspring, and then you discover bands like Strap Me Young Lad and Will Haven, and then you think, wow, how much heavier can people take music?
Yeah.
And then
Loads heavier.
loads heavier, as it turns out. And then one day I remember going to the shop, and I used to get Kerrang magazine because that was one of the ways you would find new music.
Yeah.
With the little free CDs and
Little
stuff
free
like that.
CDs,
Yeah,
aye.
yeah.
And it had Marilyn Manson on the front cover, and there was another one with Korn on the front cover. They were like issue 666, and there was like some special edition thing going on.
Oh, cool.
And I discovered it, and I was like, wow, this is Marilyn Manson. I'm gonna check this out. And listen to that Antichrist Superstar. I loved it. But what I really loved about it was the electronics.
Yeah.
that was in it.
Lots of it's quite
Yeah.
synthy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a lot of synth.
But he's got a lot of influences from people like the Arithmetics, not the Eurythmics, and Gary Newman.
Yeah, David Bowie as well.
Yeah, I love a bit of Bowie.
Yeah.
The more Bowie, the better.
And then as I was progressing through this musical journey that I was going on,
Your little gateway.
yeah, my little gateway people, you know, and then there was like bits of like Marilyn Manson that was like really noise heavy on the earlier albums, like on a Smells Like Children. There's a lot of weird shit, and I kind of wanted to listen to more weird shit.
Yeah. Actively seeking out something a bit mad.
Actively seeking just like the crazy stuff, and I was like, okay, I want to find some wacky music, and then I got a Kerrang. It was like maybe a Terrorizer CD, and it had this band on, Atari Teenage Riot.
Yeah.
It tracked Digital Hardcore, I think, and that was just like the day I was like, fucking hell,
Yeah.
I know what I want to do.
Atari Teenage Riot
Aye.
they are something special to see. Like I've seen them, I've only seen them the once since we saw them in a Bangface, and they were canny amazing. Again, lots of some periods in it that it was just noise, and you didn't quite know how to dance to it.
Yeah.
Because it's not really that rhythmic, and then all of a sudden it would just drop, and it was insanely hard. And
The
you
thing that
couldn't
I liked
dance to
about it was the noise. It
Yeah.
was like it wasn't music. It wasn't a pleasant sound, but it was really fucking crazy sounds, noises, loud as fuck.
Yeah.
And how often do you get to go and see that?
It's not often.
Not often at all. I've seen it a few times after, because I did go on a offshoot off that down, you know, all these crazy noise gigs and everything.
Yeah.
Where it is just like 5 hours of just noise.
Yeah.
I just sat and used to go and see loads of just people making squeals out of guitar pedals for like an hour and stuff like that. Just to check it out,
People sitting and licking circuit boards on Game Boys and stuff like that.
Yeah, I saw a kid called Romance who had like this copper sheet, big copper sheet connected to some wires, plugged into a bunch of circuits and everything, and all he was doing is just like bang, 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 hitting the sheet. But then that was translating into some wild sound, and he was good actually. He was really good. It was a distraction weekend or something. It was.
Oh, I remember the discussion. Yeah. I never actually got to go to one, but yeah.
They were good. I saw White House. They're like the pinnacle of all that. Like I think for me, it's just crackerjack shit.
Yeah, I've got a White House album in the house.
Yeah,
Not just the pinnacle of all that sort of
power
archaic noise.
Yeah, pretty much. They were banned in Newcastle for a long time.
What for? Do you know?
I can't remember.
Oh.
It was in the 80s, late 80s. They played on Morden Tower and got banned from Newcastle.
Right.
Aye.
Mad.
I know.
Just get out.
They're kind of controversial because they've got like one guy like speaking, shouting. I don't know. Like, I kind of say it's poetry. Like it's just like Raj words in rhyming sentences.
Right.
It's kind of poetry.
Yeah.
But some of it's like dead, like kind of on the knuckle sort of stuff. I mean, go and check them out. White House. I think I've got a vinyl by them called "Wriggle Like a Fucking Eel."
Nice.
Go and check that out if you really want to hear something crazy like. But for this choice here, this question, I think I went for Tory Teenage Riot Digital Hardcore.
Yeah.
Because it was just like a game changer.
Yeah.
In life.
There's something about Atari Teenage Riot that just. Yeah, I'd say I've really quite enjoyed them, and we've never played them before. So let's roll straight in and play some Atari Teenage Riot. This is
Digital Hardcore.
One, two, three, four.
to present the enemy that I am. And I'm running down the back street, and I'm never giving in.
Ah, that was Atari Teenage Riot.
With Digital Hardcore, the course named after his record label, Digital Hardcore.
Yeah, and that was an absolute stinker. As I say,
Also, if you want to check out anything else on Digital Hardcore, I highly recommend Bomb 20 or a Cater. Cater's fucking disgusting.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
yeah,
Second Bomb 20, like.
Oh, it's...
more
absolute
noise.
blast. Yeah, it's just raj.
His breaks are just fucking
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
ridiculously hard. Like that. I remember one Bomb 20 track. I was just like, that's the fucking hardest break I've ever heard in my fucking life.
Oh, mint. So if you're after something a little bit greasy and hard, dive into that.
Real fucking greasy.
Aye, greasy seating, yes.
Yeah. Let's just keep the ball rolling and get straight into section 3 then, and talk about your first rave memories. So, do you remember the first one you actually went to?
Yeah, it would have been the Prodigy at the arena.
Oh, nice.
Aye,
But back when it was actually still the Metro Arena, or was it the Telly West Arena all
Might
the way
have
back
been the
then?
Telly West Arena. I think it was like 1995-ish.
Wowza.
I was definitely still in school when I went.
The children were trying to get in.
Went with my mates Graham and Fish, and never been to a rave before.
Yeah.
Just walked in. I mean, I lived in the same town as the After but never went. So I missed out on that side of everything.
You missed out on the sort of machinery side of it.
Yeah, because I was too busy listening to metal. But I used to hang out with kids who used to listen to like Happy Hardcore and Makina back then. But I never went to the After for some reason. And then I went to the Prodigy, and it was like, you know, the first time you go to a rave, and that was a rave of scale. It wasn't like it wasn't like a small rave. It was like, fucking hell, look at this. What the fuck is this?
Yeah,
it's
we were
huge.
we were both talking about like the little nightclubs that we went into to a
Yeah.
first rave, but that's a big ass
Yeah.
arena rave for the
Aye.
first one. Like,
It had everything.
yeah, you got any idea how many people were there?
It was full, so
You can squeeze like 10k into there, can't
Yeah.
you?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, so
And-
that's it. Did you manage to squeeze down the front or?
no, I stuck around the sides. I do remember seeing Keith Flint.
Right.
He was because he was walking around the outskirts, and I remember, hey, look at that, Keith Flint. At the time, you know, he was a big star because the Firestarter video had just come out, and
Yeah.
he had that look as well, and he was just wandering about.
Just
Not in the crowd, but like on the behind the fences.
unmistakable look.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was unmistakable.
Isn't it? That's he's just one of those ones. There's certain people who you can just like that's their look and they stand out and they're of that time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so what was it about? What memories sort of stand out from that rave?
Just being amongst everyone and realising that I was amongst a massive, huge group of people that
Yeah.
were all just there to dance and have a good time and listen to the Prodigy.
Yeah.
That was what was the best thing about it. I was like,
Just the vibe, rather
yeah, the
than
vibe was amazing. I mean, I
applause.
love the music as well. I used to rinse that album when it first came out, like most people, and the
Still not the
previous
best
albums.
Prodigy album, just saying.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. It was Fat of the Land that was out at that time,
yeah,
wasn't
it was.
it?
I,
So
and it was like, and it kind of, the Fat of the Land kind of fed into my whole looking for new metal and rock stuff and punk, and it just kind of all blended in with finding just digital hardcore, and then listening to the Prodigy, which had Firestarter, which was heavy as fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen the Sepultura cover, and it's not even as heavy as the Prodigy version. I'm not even kidding you. It's on the internet. You'll
Yeah,
be
I
surprised.
saw it the other day and I was just like,
It's not as heavy as the
I
Prodigy
was just
version.
like very surprised by it.
Aye.
Yeah.
And So yeah, so that was the Prodigy for me. It was just a mind-blowing experience, and I think if you were going to get introduced to raves, there's literally no better band.
Definitely.
At that time, there's no one really bigger in the industry to have went and burst your first rave cherry on. Like.
No, I would like to have seen the Orb, because I used to listen to them a lot as well.
I've seen the Orb, saw the Orb at Glastonbury. They were pretty outstanding live, to be fair.
No doubt, absolutely no doubt.
The same as Orbital. Like I've seen Orbital's last gig 4 or 5 times now.
Yeah.
They just keep retiring, don't they?
Orbital at the Sage, that was a good gig.
Oh, that was only last year, wasn't it?
Aye, it was a really, really good gig.
Yeah, I missed out on that.
It was the one after Aldergate, because they had it in the hall rather than any of the arenas, didn't they?
So it was in the big main stadium.
Yeah, just where the cafe is. That's where they had a big stand for them and everything, but it was fantastic.
Oh,
great crowd. It was an older crowd, which was better.
Well, all the people who were originally into the music. Like, it's always going to be people who have got that nostalgia buzz who go back for something like that, for one of those big like re-emergent performances by someone who's maybe not got as much stuff out recently. Like.
Exactly. Aye.
Right, cool. Well, a couple of weeks on. But we'll play a bit more Prodigy, I reckon, like.
Yeah. It never gets old.
Nah, never gets old. Every time the Prodigy was played when we were away at Res, there was always a big reaction and people, like, looking round and sort of celebrating what was going on. Because it's sad news that we've lost someone like that, like as I've already said. But let's roll straight on and play the one that we didn't play for Ravers' choice last time. Because everyone picked Breathe last time, right. So this time we'll have a bit of Firestarter.
Illustrated. I'm a fire starter, twisted fire starter. You're the fire starter, twisted fire starter. I'm a fire starter, twisted fire starter. I'm the bitch you hated. Infatuated, yeah. I'm the pain you tasted, fell intoxicated. I'm a fire starter, twisted fire starter. You're the fire starter, twisted fire starter.
well. That's some more Prodigy played on the Rave podcast.
Good music never gets shit, Gav.
Yeah, that's it. That's a bit of fire starter for everybody. And it's time to soul just swiftly on to the next section of the podcast, which is the section where we discuss festival fever. So, do you like a bit of a festival?
I love a festival.
Yeah.
I absolutely love festivals.
Yeah, I'd imagine with you listening to a lot of different types of music, you've probably been and seen all sorts. What sort of festivals have you been to?
My favourite's Glastonbury.
Yeah?
Aye, 100%.
Yeah.
That was the festival that I've been to 3 times. The first time I went to it, it basically negated all the other festivals.
Right.
So it was just like, well, you can go to Leeds Festival and all these big commercial ones. You can go to the little ones. I mean, the Bangface is its own unique thing, but Glastonbury was just better than every other festival I've been to in my life.
It's a weird little world once you're in there.
Yeah, it's an amazing
Did you
world.
get to go to one of the earlier ones before it got a bit commercial and stuff like that?
No, I went out. My first one was in 2011.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was the first time I went, and then every other year I missed buying a ticket. So I've only been 3 times.
Yeah.
But the 3 times that I've been, every time I've just came away from it thinking that was a class place.
Yeah.
I wish I could do that again.
It's the full event. The thing with Glastonbury is it's like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. It's a long weekend to be there, and everyone's just so on it.
And it's like being on holiday, but in a place that's free and fun.
Yeah, there's just so much goes on
I
Pilton
know.
Field, man. Like I've seen some shit on Pilton Field.
Yeah.
We went like 4 years in a row before it had a leap year, and then another one after that. So I've done 5. But my first one was 2003.
Right.
Before it was like the orange this tent
Yeah.
and all of that, and there wasn't anywhere to charge your phone and stuff like that. So, in 1 year it just was like wiped out because when that farm gets muddy, oh dear.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
I've been there once, but it's been like kind of bad.
Yeah.
Aye. And your legs start to ache from dragging your feet through the mud all the way around.
It's the not sitting down that gets to you, man.
Yeah.
Like when it's muddy like that, you can't sit down, and that's the thing that eventually starts wounding you.
Yeah, it's like when you're just exhausted and all you want to do is just sit in the grass in the sun, and then it's just like, no, there's no grass. I can't see grass for mud.
Nah, the only place you can sit is climbing back into your tent, and you don't kind of want to because it's just might as well be outside enjoying the festivals. Like.
I mean, other than Glastonbury, the only one I used to really like was Leeds. Back before the band, all the metal bands, there was like this period of time when you used to have a day dedicated to metal, and it was class. That was when Slipknot and Rage Against the Machine played, and
I saw them both.
Daphne and Celeste played on the same stage.
Is that the year that she got conked with a jack of potato?
I wouldn't be surprised. They only played once because there was like some kind of they said on the radio that they were playing, and then the Leeds Festival organisers were like, what? So they thought, well, fuck it, we'll put them on. 2 lasses that had nothing on stage, just 2 wireless microphones, and you could basically, if you stood at the side of the crowd and looked at the stage, right, you could just see a wall of bottle in the air because there was that many bottles flying towards them. It didn't look like they were moving or anything. It just looked like the bottles were just flying.
Target practice.
Yeah. And then I seen I think a couple of years later, I seen Aphex Twin, but that was on one of the smaller stages.
What, one of the Leeds and Ren festivals?
I saw Tory Teenage Dry there the first time I saw them.
I saw Alex Empire there in Leeds.
Yeah.
It was a really good festival, but the rides kind of put it to
Yeah, I was there when they had the last big riot.
Yeah.
When
I was there as well, Eddie.
When all the lights got knocked down.
When there was people in the field beside us, like just getting bin bags and throwing because they enclosed all the toilets with this fucking matted like 20-foot metal, not fence, just wall of metal. So people were just throwing things out and then throwing things lit over them, and then just mushroom cloud of explosion and shit.
Fuck I was there. Aye.
The plastic burning and then all the shit burning in the portaloos.
It wasn't the portaloos that were blown up, it was the food vans. So it was the gas canisters and the food vans. So
it was just fucking wild.
It was wild.
It was like a lawless state for like 12 hours.
It sounds like something out of fucking Mad Max.
Oh no, it was.
Yeah, it was.
We were walking out in the morning, and this was when everything was done, and there was just people throwing bottles at a fucking fence. Just, it was just there was tents just torn to bits with like everyone's belongings just scattered everywhere. It was like a lawless zone.
It was really good fun, and
it was really good.
It was honestly, it was really good fun. It was never like anybody aggroing other people. It was just people smashing stuff. And I was like, met this little lass who had stolen them little buggy cart things that the stewards drive around in.
Like a little golf cart?
A little golf cart thing, but it was like a long one, right? So she had nicked one of them. She was must have been younger than 16, right? She was just driving around, right? And then she picked up me and Eddie. So me and Eddie went driving around with her for a bit, and then we seen some kid on the top of the toilet door with a. And this kid was in Kerrang the next week, right? He was at the top of the toilet doors where it was chained with an axe, right? Just imagine this scene, right? You're on the ground. There's a 20-foot fence above you with a 20-foot gate, and at the top of it there's just one kid with an axe smashing the chains off, right? With a helicopter. The lights on him, right? It was fucking hilarious.
Because on the last night, the security just bailed.
Yeah, they bailed.
They just fucked off out the field, like just as it finished. So maybe it's 5-ish, between 5 and 8. There was just no security, and then they shut all the toilets, so you couldn't go to the toilet anywhere.
Yeah.
And people just went fucking ape.
Can't do that, man.
Nah.
When they did it again.
That's it. I mean, these days, health and safety would go ass.
Yeah, they would,
wouldn't they?
Definitely,
We were the last field out, so we were the field away from where the riots started getting bad, and you couldn't get into the field because there was just riot vans for the whole field along the bottom.
Yeah. When they turned up.
Yeah.
I made Dave was in one of the other campsites, and he basically said he woke up and he just saw this line of police just trampling tents and everything.
Oh yeah.
Just one line.
They
bang,
weren't playing
bang,
like
bang on the shields, just boom, 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 and they were just clearing out the crowds basically. Like
wowza.
Aye.
I'd like to apologise for the person who took a shit and used their toolbar to hold so I didn't shit in my own pants.
So you just leant against the toolbar?
No, I just grabbed it, hung back. So my arse was away from my pants, took a big dump. So if you got my shit on your trainers when you're packing your fucking Land Rover away the next day, sorry.
Well, it's nice of you to apologise.
Yeah.
You know,
just fucking.
It's a shame. That's just it's a proper horrendous experience. Like don't deny someone their toilet.
Exactly.
Like,
it's basic amenities.
It is, isn't it? Like it's like saying someone can't have water. You know what I mean, you've got to have taps of water about and stuff like that.
Exactly, and it was no surprise that the toilets got torched.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. People were trying to break in, but.
And then other people went, fuck this, I'm setting this shit on
I'm
fire.
and it was literally setting the shit on fire.
Literally, it was in this perfect square, everything was just the
I still regret to this day, when I was walking out the field, it was like the Terminator, so the fence had melted into the pools along the floor, and I was just like, can I be asked to carry all that to Newcastle? And I was just saying, I wish I had a car with us, because that would have been on my wall now. It was so fucking lush.
Yeah. Blooming heck. Well, we'll get back on the good things about festivals rather than talking about the chaos.
No, it was fucking wicked.
It was wicked, like, aye.
It sounds like it was absolute chaos.
It was, aye.
Yeah.
It was all dark as well, just torches and fucking lights and explosions everywhere. It was like...
Sounds more like Vietnam.
It was I'm guessing it was as close to a war as possible.
Yeah. Without anybody getting killed.
Yeah.
Or hurt. I never saw anybody getting hurt.
A few people got hurt. I think a couple of lasses got raped as well.
My God.
Well, there was no lights and it was like a lawless state. Well,
dear me.
Well, I took a dark turn.
Yeah, it did take a dark turn, but never mind. So let's get back to the good things about festivals. So, what acts have you seen that really stood out at festivals? Have you seen that really knocked your socks off?
Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah? I've always wanted to see Zach De La Rocca.
Yeah, it was class.
Was he just the bag of energy you think he would be?
Totally and utterly was I.
Mint.
And I seen a Slipknot. It was on the same day, and that was one of their best gigs. I've seen them a few times, and I used to be a big fan, but I kind of stopped listening to them. But that gig, they were just absolutely fucking incredible. And Chemical Brothers at Glastonbury at the West Hall stage.
Oh right, yeah.
I think it was like 2015 maybe 2011, I can't remember, but that was fucking amazing as well.
Yeah, I think it was like 2006 or maybe 2006, something like that, when I saw Chemical Brothers. So it was a bit before then. But what was it about the Chemical Brothers that stood out?
I just like the Chemical Brothers.
Yeah.
I just like the tunes and like they attracted a really good crowd, and it was one of those. I like it when everyone's dancing. Yeah. Like when you're looking at the sea of people and there's nobody just standing around. Everyone's just dancing because they come to see the Chemical Brothers.
Because they're all bouncing and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. You look in front of you, there's people dancing. You look behind you and everyone's dancing to your left and right, and it's like, this is why I come to this shit.
It's meant when everyone's having communal fun like
exactly,
that. Like the vibe really picks up and
does.
it gets everyone going.
It does. And I think the last classical that I went to, funnily enough, not that I'm a massive fan now, but Radiohead were amazing.
Right.
And I've seen them at the Pyramid stage, and that place is geared for bands like that, I guess, but they were fucking amazing.
I've seen some class acts on the Pyramid stage, to be fair. I did go I went and saw Oasis in the Rain. None of my mates wanted to go with us. I saw Brian Wilson from the Beach Boys. and he was on the pyramid stage. So it's where the sort of bigger, more commercially viable people are.
But then, you know, in Glasgow now there's like this metal stage which is tucked away in Shangri-La. It's called the Erie Express. It's two like London tube carriages put together, and you can basically either watch the bands in the tube carriage holding onto the bars and the straps and everything, or you can just go out to the front and watch them. And they tend to play more to the crowd that's outside because you can get about 100 people in that little area, and that's how big it was, right? To Glastonbury, and I seen horror there, and it was fucking. Like, it was like going to see horror at your own personal show. That's what it was like. And then, like, previously that day, I think Napalm Death opened Glastonbury that day.
Right.
At Shangri-La, which was brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's Napalm Death, isn't it?
Sometimes you see some of the best music on those tiny little hidden stages out in the middle of nowhere.
Always.
I'll never forget seeing Nightmares on Wax on the New World or New Order stage or something like that, all the way out the back. It looked like it had this, like, weird twisted thorn over the top of it, and I was standing watching Nightmares on Wax while the fireworks were going off at the pyramid stage because REM were on. Wasn't interested in seeing REM, but I really enjoyed the photo. I really enjoyed like what I saw of all the fireworks over the top of like Nightmares on Wax doing 70s, 80s and stuff like that. Like, so cool.
I was. So, Goldie, I seen Goldie as well in Shangri-La, and they had a Heaven and Hell, and he was playing in Hell, and it was like this like pit, like, you know, it was like a Colosseum. It looked like a quarter of a Coliseum, right? And everyone kind of looking down at the bottom, and Goldie was at the bottom just playing like absolutely waxer fucking drum and bass from fucking 3 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. Which is kind of what you want to listen to at 3 o'clock in the morning.
You need something to keep you going and keep you wham.
Like,
that was
really good,
on those days, like. Cool. Well, that's a lot of really good festival stories.
Yeah,
is there like one tune that you'd like to play out for everyone?
Chemical Brothers, Hey Boy, Hey Girl.
Yeah.
Purely because it's the one tune that I've heard at every single festival that I've ever been to.
Right.
Like anything that's open outdoors or anything like that, that's the tune that that's Hey Boy, Hey Girl. And then everyone stops and dances. So I was like, fuck it, that's the tune I'm going for.
Right, sound. Well, let's play some Chemical Brothers then.
Hey boy, hey girl.
Just get yourself. Just get yourself.
superstar DJ.
Here we go.
There you can. That's a bit of Chemical Brothers for everybody. And we'll just take this moment now that everyone's listened to some Chemical Brothers to remind you that you can find us on Twitter at On The Rave. You can find us on Facebook at On The Rave. You can get us on Instagram On The Rave with Addie and Gav. That's Addie's favourite.
That's my favourite.
That's his favourite. He's still hanging. He's still struggling there.
Struggling like.
Yeah, it's proper struggling from Rez. You look as red as the logo on your t-shirt.
I know.
Yeah.
Keep rubbing my eyes as well, which isn't helping.
No.
Yeah. No, it just makes you more tired, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Sound. Well, we'll stroll into section 5, which is the shared discovery section. So, are there any artists out there that you think don't get enough love, that you think more people should listen to?
Right now, there's a band called Zeal and Order, who are actually Don told me about these ages ago.
Okay.
And then I kind of like found them again. And I was like, fucking hell, they're like this guy called Manuel Cagno or something like that, right? I think he put a 4chan post up asking people for like weird mixes of music, like what can I blend together to make some kind of new wacky music or whatever.
Okay.
And somebody said to him blues and black metal. So he basically formed Zeal and Order and done exactly that, and basically took the blues elements that were, let's say, blues music from the olden days of America's slave trades. So it was like the slave chants and like the blues music that those guys would sing while they were at work.
Oh.
And he took that and married it up with black metal. And for some people it's a bit of a, I don't know, like an acquired taste maybe, or some kind of weird concoction of a hodgepodge of genres that shouldn't go. But honestly, I saw them last year playing at church in Leeds, and watching a black metal band that's like gospel inspired in a church in Leeds is just fucking, it was amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing.
That sounds well interesting.
Yeah,
I've never heard anything like that.
Yeah, like when I first heard the new album, it's just like a start to finish, you know, you put it on track one, you don't stop until you get to the end.
Oh, mint.
Brilliant. So I put out all the songs. I think I've picked Ro.
Yeah.
And it's like the one that is like the most ferocious black metal while still being blues. You'll know what I mean.
Yeah. Well, once everyone gets an earful, they'll know what I mean. I tell you what, why don't we keep that short and sweet, and we'll just crack it straight on, because I'm quite interested to hear. I'm actually interested to hear this shared discovery. Like, so the band is called Zeal and Order.
Yeah.
And the song's called Ro.
Row, you never gonna go. Shapeless farms you didn't even know. Now low, behold, they're taking me below. Guess my name in salt and stone. Now row, you never gonna go. Shapeless farms you didn't even know. Low, behold, they're taking me below. Kiss my name in salt and stone. Take my name, never gonna get me. Take my life, never gonna leave. Take my name, never gonna get me. Take my life, never gonna leave. Row, you never gonna go. Shapeless farms you didn't even know. Lo, behold, they're taking me below. Kiss my name in salt and stone. We are the last of the legion. The last of the last.
Well, wasn't that interesting? I like that. Like the mix is absolutely what you said it is. It's like the sort of soul singing with the metal going at the same time. But that's well interesting. That's well interesting. And thank you for sharing.
No worries. I would definitely recommend. They've got an album out called Stranger Fruit. 100%. Just recommend it. Even if you don't like black metal as a genre, I think you'd still like the album.
There's something really different to
Right.
like a lot of the other black metal stuff that's about, isn't it?
Yeah.
Cool. Well, Eddie, guess what?
What?
It's a 2 in 1. That was the most half-assed one you've done yet.
There's it. Just to make up for
The levels just went mental there for a second. It's a 2 in 1.
Hope you fuckers have got your headphones on. I'll just fucking rinse you.
Gonna have to put one of those like hearing warnings on. Warning.
No, we're not going to get banned again.
We're gonna different warnings this time. Warning: Addie is going to shout something at one point during this podcast.
See if you can guess when.
What's your bass pins? I see if you can guess when. What's your eardrums? I'm telling you. We're going to do the wild card moment now, and you've chose one of my favourites to share as well. Who else?
He's very much a big favourite of On the Rave podcast.
He is, yeah. It's one of those ones he's played in town.
Yeah.
He's one of the ones that you go and see.
Yeah.
You make a bit of time to go and see at Bangface and stuff like that. So the other person you've chose...
The Panacea.
Yeah. Absolutely wicked.
Yep.
Producer out of Germany?
Yes, Matisse.
Matisse Moots.
Sweet. What is it about Panacea?
It was one of the guys that I first got into through a friend years ago, and you know when you just hear music and you think this is class, this, you don't know, you couldn't put a reason why, you just love it.
Yeah.
Like all the earlier stuff, Phoenix Metabolism was this class song with this rapper on it. It starts off like it's the return of the 8-lung amphibian MC. And it went on to like German Engineering, and then he turned into like a proper raver with like all the rest of the albums that came out afterwards. But German Engineering was something that I used to listen to a lot.
It's a banging album.
It is a banging album.
Went from there to straight to Low Profile Darkness, which is just a seminal album in my
absolutely, yeah. And Automatic Rewind, absolutely, like the tune that like I don't know, it was just like the tune, the jungle tune for me. Just when that Hoover kicks in.
There's something like the production's really tight. It's like it's bassy. The drums sound good. Some of the stuff that he puts out is just straight evil.
Yeah.
I can remember seeing him on Bangface and him just dropping this tune that made my gut go. It's and you're just crippled by the tunes, but like he's one of those ones that's a really nice guy as well.
Yeah. Playing his last ever DJ set at Prospect. Next Prospect.
He's playing his last
ever drum bass set.
Yeah.
And what's he do?
He's now making techno.
Oh, well, there we go. That's the same with Mike Techno still, because he's doing that, isn't he?
Yeah. No, but I don't think Mike Techno is going to give up
drum and bass.
everything else.
Is he really just going to stop
he's giving it all up. I've listened to a couple of his interviews now, and he's just like, yeah, I'm done.
Oh, he's just had enough of that.
He's just going to do what he will. I mean, he lives in Berlin as well, so that's probably why he's just gone all fucking straight up techno.
Oh, well, that's it. He probably has to leave Berlin to play a lot of drum and bass.
Yeah.
So it's whether or not you want to keep travelling to play that sort of thing.
If you get paid enough, you would.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
He will be getting paid crazy.
Yeah, that's it. I think
he's just sick of, he's done it for so long, and then he's like, I just want to do something else.
Yeah.
And he's done it for a long time.
That's what happened with Bong Raw, though, isn't it? He just had enough.
Yeah.
He just had enough and just stopped doing it, like so. Cool. Well, it's sad to find out that he's not doing it anymore, but
you can still catch him playing techno.
That's it, and you can always get all of the memories from YouTube because his back catalogue's up there.
Yeah.
And there's
and if you want to see something, there's his DJ set. There's Boiler Room sets. Great.
Yeah. There's a woman who's standing over his shoulder during that Boiler Room set who is wasted. Keep an eye out for her, just staring down the camera with the most intense eyes. Like, just what I remember that one from the Boiler Room set. But that Boiler Room set's absolutely wicked that he plays like so. Cool. And the tune you wanted to play is
Automatic Rewind.
Let's go.
Flame on the brain. This is what
ear and to startle the audience.
God damn it.
It was designed to trick the ear. It was designed to trick the ear. It was designed to trick the ear. It was designed to trick the ear and to startle the audience. It was designed to trick the ear. It was designed to trick the ear. It was designed to trick the ear and to startle the audience. Trick the ear, trick the ear, trick the ear, trick the ear. Trick the ear, trick the ear, trick the ear, trick. It was designed to trick the ear. It was designed to trick the ear, trick the ear, trick the ear, trick the ear. It was designed to trick the ear. It was designed to trick the ear, trick the ear, trick the ear, trick the ear.
God damn it.
Red alert, red alert.
That was some absolutely waxer panacea for everybody for the wild card being played out on the podcast, on the RAVE podcast with Idene this time out. Addie, guess what? What? It's time to set the scene.
How then? I
That's
know
his
Idene
trouble.
didn't get to go to the res, but he was going to if his job didn't pop up on the Sunday. But I'm going to set Idene's res for him.
Thanks.
Get in. Here we go.
He's just in the main arena. He's milling around. He says, "I know what I want to buy some overpriced tokens." He gets himself in the queue. He pays £20 for four resurrection tokens. He then goes outside into the rain to the other arena where the bar is, then waits in the queue. That wasn't that long to buy some Shan half bottles of
Warm lager.
or / cider or whatever that red shit was that I was drinking at the end because that's all that was left. And then you come back out the queue with your warm lager, and then you go all the way back over to the main room. You push your way to the front, and it's fucking mint. What tune makes you either put your hands in the air or proper screw face down? What are you?
I'm a hands in the face and a screw face at this.
No, a lot of people are. A lot of people are.
Bit of both.
I've been
Arms
of
and
both. I've been of
screw
both.
face.
Bit of both. You know that face you make when you spell some shit.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh, twisting.
Aye.
Proper twisted face with his arm in the air. It's probably the Raver's armpit next year where they keep doing it like.
I think I got that when Neophyte was on. Remember he played one tune and spat water all over the place.
Yeah.
That's fucking beats ridiculous.
He did. He sprayed a mouthful of water over the back of some unexpected blonde.
To be fair, it's fucking Neophyte's fault though.
Well, that's it. Yeah, that's it. So what sort of music is it that makes you sort of like the combination between the two?
Like just epic trancey breakdowns and like just big huge synth parts and just big. That's what I like.
Yeah,
big.
Big sound.
Yeah. Not so much even like raging kick drums and out like that. I'll be garage beats or anything. Just big, like I mean, this is going back, like, but remember when I was going to the raves at God's Kitchen, I remember one of the first times I'd heard like a remix of Bullet in the Gun.
Oh,
yeah.
I
You know that
remember,
massive synth? I remember listening to that in the fucking, what you call it, the princess, the
Tuxedo Princess.
Tuxedo Princess.
On the bed.
Aye. On New Year's Day, right? When they used to have raves on there, just.
Oh, I remember them.
Aye, they were class, weren't they? Absolutely class. And that came on, and all the lights and everything just went with it. And it was, I think it was Anne Savage playing, and it was like some kind of darker remix of it. It wasn't the one that everybody knows. It was just some other version, and it was just amazing. Like, that was for me.
If it's Anne Savage, it's probably going to be some VIP that 12 people have got or something.
Yeah,
like
back in them days,
Yeah.
God, must be-
Tuxedo Princess was such a crap but brilliant venue.
I saw Lenny D there at a guy's birthday party.
Aye.
What a night that was.
Mint. I once saw Frank Bruno DJ in there.
Wow.
On the rotating dance floor.
Yeah.
It wasn't great. It wasn't great.
I imagine.
Aye. There was this room that used to stink of shit. Like
the toilet?
No. No, that was like a room with a DJ in it, right? But there was hardly anybody there, but a proper stank of shit in it. Obviously that was why there was nobody there.
Yeah. Just because it stank.
I think it was like, you know how the ships are laid out. I think the toilets or the pipes or the something to do with the toilets was next to that room somewhere.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'm not even kidding you, it was fucking disgusting. You know, you've been out for a bit, you've indulged yourself a little bit, and then you go into that room just to see what's going on, and you just walk straight out.
It's like that little room in the bottom of Newcastle Uni that was just, as soon as you walked in there, you'd hit the wall of heat.
Yeah.
And you couldn't chill out in there, and they were like, oh, we'll put a chill out room in there, and everyone will lie there listening to the calm music, and it was empty all night, because people walked in there, and the bead of sweat started pouring on your head, and you walked straight back out. Too warm, too uncomfortable. Got to be in the right place to have that sort of.
And speaking of Newcastle University, like, there's been some good parties in that place.
Right.
Yeah.
Aye.
Yeah. Over the years,
over the
that's
years.
it. We were talking
Another
about
one that we had
turbulences.
Panacea on at.
Yeah.
Yeah. When we did that collaboration with Dave Melt.
The Detox one.
Yeah. Was it a horror rave that we did, or a zombie rave?
Yeah.
And Panacea, Slipmat. I played in between Panacea and Slipmat, I think.
That's not a bad claim to fame.
No.
Not a bad claim to fame.
Phenomenal venue.
Yeah.
I mean, I still remember Bad Company playing Turbulence.
Oh, yeah.
And if you were there, and everyone remembers that gig.
Yeah, there's loads of those old Turbulence like that. That was amazing.
There were.
What was the other one that was on? Oh, Arcane.
Yeah.
As well.
Okay, that was probably my first proper rave, that, you know.
Your first one that wasn't in the arena?
The first outside of all the other stuff that I'd been to, the first real proper rave was probably that.
Yeah, one of
Really
those like all night long arcanes that
5
finished at
o'clock
5 in the morning.
Yeah. It was just like some other. Then it was at some other level. It kind of went bad, didn't it? It kind of got really good, and then they had that thing where you had to get signed in, and it was part of the fun going to get signed in off another student.
You had to go and find a student from
a
upstairs at the bar to sign you in to get you in.
Yeah, you couldn't just walk in, and then they changed it.
That.
Yeah, so it was like part of the fun. Now you used to go there at like 9 o'clock at night, and then like, yeah, mate, Harry, I'll get you a couple of pints and that, get us in here, and they would do it. I'd get them a pint or whatever, and then run away from them all night. That was a fantastic place.
I always thought that was a weird business idea, that getting everyone had to sign in to be you had to sign in
because it was a student only night. That arcade was meant to be like just for students, so you had to be a student or a friend of a student.
It went downhill when they took that off.
It makes it sound like a social club.
Yeah.
You know the old CIU clubs where you can't go in unless Davey signed you in.
Yeah. That was good. It was packed. You would walk up and down the stairs from the ground floor to the top, and you would run into about 100 people on the stairs, right? Just milling about, just drinking and having a good time.
Chatting and gurning.
Aye, pretty much. And then they changed the thing where anybody could come in and you just buy a ticket, and hardly anybody went.
That's weird.
I think it was because it was like the students must have just thought, okay, this is like our thing, and they enjoyed it, and they went in their droves. And then once they opened it up, the crowd changed.
So it was Ravers and not the students.
Aye.
So you did. That's.
So the students stopped going because it was kind of like.
And maybe it was the mix of the two which gave it the nice balance that it had. Like
it had a nice
the mix
balance
of people that were there for the rave and people that were there just because they could be.
Yeah,
so
pretty much. And they just went because there's a student only night on, and then it was full of us.
Yeah, it was full of all the crusty ravers.
Exactly. But it was like a good crowd. It was always a good crowd. Apparently the last one there was only 100 people there or something.
Oh, what's sad.
Aye, it's sad. Aye, yeah.
That is
It wasn't even the whole thing. It was just a couple of rooms downstairs.
Yeah.
Aye.
I mean, the whole venue's changed now. You've got to walk all the way around and into the back, and
I don't like it.
You don't like it?
No, I was just there for, I can't remember what night it was on. One that Smurf was playing at.
I went to the Motion Sickness Turbulence down there, and it was good crack.
Yeah, it was.
It was really good crack, but the venue, it changed so much that it was a little bit sad for me.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't that dirty, natty, black environment. It's quite clean and nice and stuff like that.
But I think back then, though, you could smoke in there. So before Turbulence left there, the smoking ban hadn't come in.
Aye.
So it was when, people would be walking around smoking tabs, the atmosphere was totally different.
Yeah, it was.
Obviously,
it was loads different when you could smoke at the front of the rave.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like, it was
you lose so many punters just by people going out and have tabs.
Yeah.
Get off the dance floor, it's half an memory because people are outside.
And that's why the small raves suffer, really.
Yeah.
Because if there's 100 people at the rave and
there's 50 outside.
And 50 of them are on rotation,
isn't it?
Yeah, on rotation smoking. They don't even let you use your vape in places like that anymore. They make you go outside to use your vape. So there's they limit the numbers that can be in there. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about the sort of tunes that make you wing your arms in the air and pull a funny screw face. Yeah. So if you had to wind it all down to one particular tune,
I'm gonna just plug one of my own here.
Yeah,
you're allowed.
I'm allowed. Excellent. Because I remember playing this at Bangface last year with ISR Live.
That was a blinding gig.
It was. Thank you very much. It was a good time being there. And it's a Fail2COMPLY tune, which was myself and Eddie from TOOMS and FAIL2COMPLY, Mario Malki, a guy called Carlo, Unexist, and we basically had this couple of tracks going, and this was one of them, Bass Jump, and it had the epic breakdown that I like in the middle of it, and I got to perform it and write it and be a part of it. And when I did it at Blankface, it was like that was my epic moment.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like, whoa. There's
loads of good moments like that. I mean, when you're talking about being in the crowd and having an arms in the air moment, but sometimes the moment can also come when you're on the stage and you see everyone put their arms up, and it gives you that cold shiver and all those things down your arms. It's like, look what I did to all of them. Yes. Get in.
I remember that gig because there was the monitoring. I couldn't hear myself at all, right?
So that's Bangface's monitoring for you.
I think it was because they had the monitors set up for the DJs rather than for performers.
Yeah. So they're further back.
Because I was getting the reflections of the back basically, but I could still make it out.
Yeah.
And there was still plenty of fucking luminous toys flying in the air, so that was fucking sweet.
Something about those inflatable balloons and
the bananas and that.
Inflatable bananas and people all climbing into one fucking dinghy and trying to walk into the front.
We're gone. It was good. It was a good gig. It was a good time. I mean, Bangface was a very special place.
It is. That's a special place for special people.
It is a very special place.
Or it's a special place for people to go to and get special. Slowly become more and more like that. Right, sound. Well, let's play a bit of Fail2COMPLY.
This is Bass Jump?
This is Bass Jump.
We got your back. See where we're from and where we're at. We got your back. Ripping, it checks the vibe. It's ripping, it checks the vibe. I'm rushing, it's pulverized. I'm blushing, no compromise. You gotta feel like a for yourself. No help, no self-medication. Combat, acceleration of wolf accident. Going straight down.
alright? We are find our consciousness defined only by the limits in our deepest fears.
You gotta feel like you're part of yourself. You gotta feel like you're part of yourself. You gotta feel like you're part of yourself. Let me see you make something.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That was Fail to Comply with Bass Jump. What did that do to you? Let me know in the comments. Did that make you put your arms in the air? Or did it make you pull a screw face and punch the deck? Let's turn around to section 7, which is the dedication section of the podcast. Yeah. So this is the moment where we'll ask you if there's anyone that you'd like to play a tune for. Yeah. So is there any tune you'd particularly like to play, and is it for anyone in particular?
I'm going to play a track called Knuckle Up by Horror. Who are a new, they're kind of new. They're a rap-influenced hip-hop punk band.
Yeah.
They've been playing with, they've done a track with The Prodigy on the new album. They've played with Marilyn Manson. They've been playing their own tours. They're basically one of these quiet little underground bands that are penetrating the scene basically. Yeah. Big style. Saw them for the first time, not intentionally, with Dillinger Escape Plan a couple of years ago, and then seen them again at Glastonbury, and every time the shows have just been absolutely out of this fucking world.
Yeah.
If you get the chance to go and see Horror, you need to go. You will not regret going. And I want to dedicate this track to all the other people in Newcastle who are out there doing things and making things happen for themselves or for others, or the people putting on the raves, whether it's gabba and hardcore, house and techno, drum and bass, whatever. As long as people who are doing stuff, and that's the dedications for those guys, the ones that enable you to have loads of fun.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. That's a bit of a different way to approach that.
I like it. I like it a lot.
So let's play some Horror for everyone out there who's busting their butt to put something on so that everyone
can put on podcast.
Yeah, just put on a podcast.
And this is Horror, and the track's called
Knuckle Up.
Tell you what, I had a motherfucking do it. motherfuckers better never know. 'Cause I'ma lose my shit. I just lost my shit. We don't take no shit. We don't take no shit from the motherfucker. You motherfuckers better never know. 'Cause I'ma lose my shit. I just lost my shit. We don't take no shit. We don't take no shit from the motherfucker. Get the bodies in the blood. And let me see you. Murder speaks on the word. And let me see you.
Well, that was Horror, and that was Knuckle Up, and that was played for all the movers and the shakers in the NE1, putting on music for everyone else to have good raves to. Nice dedication, mate.
Thank you.
Nice dedication. Let's stroll into section 8, which is the bone of contention that is guilty pleasures.
It is.
So, where do you lie on guilty pleasures?
Well, I've had my brain twisted a few minutes ago, so... So I used to think it was like some kind of like a, you know, maybe a band or a genre or something that you used to listen to, like you might like that, you might not want other people to know that you like it.
Yeah.
But now I'm kind of...
Other people mightn't associate with you.
Yeah, exactly.
I think the question is just like anything that you want that to be. Like all the questions, like wherever you want to take that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. People answer all the different questions in their sort of, I was going to say twisted way, but...
Yeah. But is that kind of now, do you think, is that a guilty pleasure or is that just the music I listen to?
Yeah, that's it. I always think of it as like, it's that music you'd listen to in the bath, or when you were having that, like, that weird little moment. So... Yeah,
well,
I mean, so is there any music out there that you listen to, maybe not even on the regular, but you listen to that people might say, what?
So I listen to a lot of dark American country music.
Dark American country music?
It's kind of like sometimes referred to as like Americana or like Southern Gothic, but it's basically like country music, but it's dead melancholic and dark. Whereas regular country music,
dark in content or dark in
like tone, and you know the timbre of the whole music's kind of like imposing and dark and
bit sinister.
You
don't see country music as that, do you? Because
exactly.
Country music you associate with the bubble gum and the Daisy Dukes, don't
yeah.
you?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, you know, I mean, it's the other side, I guess. So you got like, I get that in every genre, though, don't you? So you got like punk music goes from like rage hardcore to like happy punk.
Yeah.
You've got all sorts of shit, you know. But this is the country version of it, the darker side.
Right.
And there was, I think I first basically got into it through a band called Murder by Death. And they had this. They sound like a death metal band, right? And people will never go to listen to them because of this.
Because of their name.
Because of their name. Honestly, I've always said it. People are like, I don't want to listen to a band called Murder by Death, man. And it's like they sound a bit garage them. And then when you actually like put them on, it's just the exact opposite. It's just like they're just like really well written songs, like songs that Johnny Cash would like sing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And you kind of like that's how I got into it. I had this album that I loved, that I was name I cannot remember. So it's a foreign name.
That's alright, I'm not going to ask you to remember it.
But like, there's a song there called Dynamite Mine. It's like this really slow, foreboding song, and I used to listen to that a lot. And then that got me into other stuff in that genre.
Yeah.
So you go, naturally go out exploring. Let's go find
go and find other
things that you like in that sort of genre. Go down the YouTube spiral of doom.
That's what YouTube's magic for.
Oh, yeah,
going down that rabbit hole.
Aye, click,
surfing,
click, surfing YouTube for hours.
Yeah.
I found this guy called King Dude.
King Dude.
And at first, I was actually just like looked at his name and I was like, oh, listen to King Dude. Let's see what King Dude's got to give.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, this is class.
Yeah.
And then I had King Dude on repeat for like 2 months.
Mint.
But the song that I picked for this one is Death Won't Take Me.
Right.
Yeah, it's like my favourite one of his songs. He's got loads of class songs. Like, he's an absolutely amazing musician. Kind of gets compared to like maybe a bit like the Nick Cave maybe, or maybe Leonard Cohen to an extent, but it's him. He's a unique person.
Yeah.
That's my guilty pleasure. I hope you enjoy it.
Sweet. Get in. Well, let's play some King Dude. This tune is called
Death Won't Take Me.
I'm the son of a man who was the child of the devil's storm. I can't look at my reflection and not think of the DT dawn. Don't gotta know how to live, be afraid to die. If you don't want to see that sunset, stop looking in a demon's eye. Anymore, but I can't be in Satan's host. And I don't need no doctor, I sure as hell don't need no priest. I don't need no revelation, gonna take my body down to Galilee. Death won't knock on my door. Death won't sing in the church on my wedding day. 'Cause death don't love me anymore. Gotta run, I don't gotta hide. Death won't kiss me on the lips, and she won't sit by my side. No, she won't sit by my side. And she said she'd never be my bride. She won't decorate my legate. Only genocide could make her smile, because death won't take me. Death won't knock on my door. Death won't sing in the church on my wedding day. Good God, death don't love me anymore. We don't give a funerals anymore. We just live on forevermore. Death don't love me anymore.
King Dude, Death Won't Take Me.
It won't.
It won't. And that's the Guilty Pleasure track played out by Idene. This is on the RAVE podcast. We're sat in Biker. Addie's struggling after Rez.
Yes.
Yeah. He's trying to find something scientific for everybody as we sit and speak. So, me and you will roll straight on and we'll talk about goats.
Right.
So, we were just saying that, that's the dog next door. Oh, you know, Ollie. Calm down, Ollie. He's a lovely little white thing. Do you know what? He's got a really round head.
Right.
You obviously take him quite often to get done,
Aye.
and you see him just after, and he's got a proper round head. It looks like something out of Edward Scissorhands or something like that. It's a bit mad, like. Yeah, yeah. He's all right. He just shouts at the cats, man. There's always cats in the streets. Well, we're a biker, innit?
Yeah.
So we were just saying about goats and the nature of music and how these things change all the time. Because I understand the guy or the band that you've picked are actually quite new.
Yeah,
But
they are.
you, at the minute,
Aye.
you think they're the greatest
Yeah.
of all time.
That well, the song is the song War. I heard there's a live video of it on the internet, and when you watch it, it's the performance that just totally takes you, like it just cooks you in.
Yeah.
The singer is called Stephanie Manette. They're from Belgium, and she's basically the singer and the drummer of the band.
That's a talent.
That is
both
a
of
talent
them at the same time.
That is, it's a real talent, and she's like an incredible singer. Like her voice just kind of does things to your mind, soul, and it really just kind of blows you away.
Right.
And then she starts drumming, and then you're just like, what?
Yeah.
And the drumming kind of like, the reason why I really like the song is because the drumming and the sections are really crust-inspired hardcore, like
Right.
which is kind of, I don't know, works to the opposite of what you hear beforehand, with this like beautiful voice singing this beautiful melody and nice guitar tones and all this beautiful music before it, and then it turns into this aggressive as fuck hardcore.
By the
And
mad drums.
it always reminded me of Blood and Drum for some reason.
All
When
right.
the drums kick in, which is why I've had this tune on since the day the YouTube video came out.
Yeah, since the day you discovered it, it's been on every day.
Yeah, every day. I listen to it at least twice, 3 times a day.
It sounds like one of the situations where the person's just too talented for their own fucking good. You know, when you just look at someone, you just go, "Oh, you dick!"
Aye.
Like you can just do all of that at the same, all of it at the same time. Like Dave Grohl.
Yeah.
Dave Grohl can do everything, and it makes us a bit sick.
All at the same time.
Yeah, because he can do it all at the same time.
Exactly.
And that's what gets so frustrating about it. It's because he can do all of them at the same time. It's what makes you sick.
Yeah.
But what is it about? What is it about Brutus? Is Brutus the name of the band?
They're like a post-rock metal band. I love that genre anyway. Like outside of everything else, I like bands like Cult of Luna and Russian Circles, and all play sort of similar style, where it's like a really heavily instrumental, and there's a lot of focus on long instrumental sections.
Yeah.
But Brutus don't seem to have all those long sections. They've kind of took the genre and made shorter songs out of them.
Okay.
Which is really good, because you know sometimes you don't want to listen to a 15-minute epic. You know?
Doing something new, man.
It's doing something new in a genre renowned for being very long. And I think for me, like this one particular song, I like the songs off the album that it's off, that it's only just come out, but this one just set the bar so high.
Yeah.
And I'm still getting into that album slowly. It's grown on me, but it's not like I'm not feeling it as much as I am War. This song just bosses it.
It just stands out.
It stands out.
Yeah, that's the sore thumb amongst the crowd. Like.
No, it is. And I love the genre in general, like, but this is for me the pinnacle of it for me. Yeah.
Sweet.
Nice, let's get into it.
Yeah, sound. The tune's by Brutus and it's called
War.
War.
Our world, it's gone. Did we ever grieve or cry? I came for help. Did you just really pull my hair out? Unleash your wrath. Unleash your hate will always be my guide.
And there you have it. That was a bit of Brutus. That was War, and that was the Goat track played
God,
out.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
God, no.
Not a lot.
Yeah. Good tunes, good tunes. Well, we've successfully manoeuvred all the way to the end of another podcast, Daddy. We're down to the last section. It's been lush sitting down and having a bit of chat with you, mate. It's always good to have a little bit of different music on. We've had some rave on, but a bit of everything's good. A bit of everything is always good, as I say.
Variety's the spice of life, Gav.
It is.
I saw they say it.
Yeah. No, it's true, it totally is.
Or so they say. Or so they say.
So it has.
Or so it has. Section 10 is the personal anthem section, so everyone approaches this slightly differently.
Yeah.
Which way have you manoeuvred it? So
I'm just plugging my own shit again.
Yeah, that's absolutely
what the show's for.
We don't mind that. What we'll do in the comments, we'll put links to the bands and where you can find some of the music and the different bits that Idene's done over the past. Have you got SoundCloud or YouTube?
Yeah, we've got all that jazz.
Yeah, sweet. Well, there'll be links in the comments or in the description, so if you want to discover a little bit more of the music that we've been talking about, you can scroll down into the comments and leave a comment for us to know what's going on. And as Addie keeps saying, go on iTunes and give Addie a 5-star review, and he will read out the review no matter what you put. Yeah. So just
put any old shit down.
Yeah,
just
get on there.
No shame.
We're trying to manoeuvre the podcast into a better position. We're already climbing the ranks, top 50 in the UK based on music on iTunes. Yeah, top 50 in the UK, which is great. But it would be lovely to say we're in the top 30, and then like grew further on. You know, we've got aims and goals. And stuff like that. So you want to plug a bit of your music. So by the way, personal anthem. Which of your bands is it you're gonna play?
This one's Ape,
right?
The latest one, and the track's called Runaway, and it was like the first one that everyone kind of. Well, after we're finished with it, we were like, yes, this is the first track we're gonna bring out. We all decided, you know, it was like this was it. We've got some other ones coming out later on, which will be a lot more interest to a lot of the hardcore crew. There's a track coming out which is like a blend of like metal, and then it goes into hardcore, like techno, and
nice.
It's like a nice segue into the thing. There's like a nice, you know, blends in well. Yeah. And that's had had a pretty good response from the little short clip that's on the internet. So, but for this section, because this is like the most finished one. We're gonna play Runaway.
Yeah. What is it about? Like, you've obviously had some good feedback. You have feedback from everyone else on it.
Yeah,
as well?
Yeah. It's been getting really good feedback, and I think for me it was because it was the way that it was just kind of written, and I basically was sitting in the house one day and just jamming, just trying to come up with like some new bits and pieces of music. You know, like what I normally do is I normally like make like 1 minute songs. Or 45 second songs. Yeah, just like little short things. Yeah. So you would either have a chorus or you'd have like a nice verse, and then
just record the riffs. And
record the riffs, record a bit of vocals. Then you got like an idea of like what the song's kind of going to sound like basically like a proof of concept or like a prototype, as it were, for the song.
Like a plan for an essay, but
yeah, exactly. And that's how that came about. So I was sent a couple of riffs. And I'd already had this vocal that I'd been working on anyway, so then I just took the riffs the section that I got from Mario and Sebastian, then just plonked the other vocals that I'd done for this totally different song on top of it, and I was like, hold on a second.
It works.
It worked. I had to re-record it all.
Like a little musical Venn diagram.
Yeah, it
where
was.
you had all the circles, and then you just in the middle you just had a pink.
Exactly, and that was what it was. It was just like, and I mean the tempos weren't right when I did it, but the lyrics and everything fit with the chorus. So I was like, okay, I'm going to redo the chorus a little bit faster, put a bit more aggression into it,
yeah.
And then we ended up back in Barcelona recording this chorus, which took 20 hours.
Right.
It was 20 hours, 2 days.
Or just because of what? Just to get it perfect,
just to get it the way that we want it to sound. So yeah, it's very very layered. There's a lot of stuff going on.
Right.
In the vocal recording itself that you don't kind of. If I spent less time on it, it would sound nowhere near as what it does. Yeah. It's dead powerful. And it's because we spent 20.
You've got to put the time in to. You've got to put the time in to get like out of it what you want to put into it. So
we did a lot of experimenting as well. You know, we did like a lot of bits where we thought, right, we'll try like with this melody line, that melody line didn't work, that didn't work. So we went back. We've done a lot of editing while we were doing in the session, but for the most part, it was basically 2 10-hour days.
Yeah.
Recording the vocals.
So what's your process? Do you go in knowing exactly what you want, or do you just go in having a rough idea and just experiment until it happens?
Yeah, we basically have like a bit of like a little pre-production session where you kind of what can we do that's like going to make this stand out? What can we do? Can we add like little layers on the sides? Can we add little extra bits of harmony, or change the tune underneath the bottom layer of the vocals or whatever? And then once you've kind of went through it a couple of times, then you start recording, and then it all depends on how your voice is throughout the day, how well you look after it, and how much of that you do. You know what I'm saying? And then eventually you kind of just soldier on until you can't speak anymore. Yeah. Which is exactly what happened.
No, well, 20 hours spent in a recording booth screaming and shouting is not gonna.
No.
It's not gonna do your pipes any good in the long run. Like.
It was like one of those things where it was like we got so far, and it was like, well, if we just record this next 2 lines, we'll be done. Recording those 2 lines took like maybe an hour. Yeah. Because of the way that it was recorded.
Yeah, and you just think, well, it's 2 lines. You can just bang them out in 30 seconds. Totally. You've got to hit perfection when it comes to things. Yeah. Like. You seem like one of those guys who wants to achieve the most he can out of the experience. So
if you're gonna go over there, spend all that money traveling or whatever. You want to like get something.
Get the very most out of it.
And that's what we do. Basically, 4 days, and we just hammer the studio.
Yeah.
Don't really go out much. We're in Barcelona, but maybe go outside to the beer shop.
Go and get some San Miguel. And then
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Estrella.
So the tune you picked is called "Runaway."
Yeah.
Yeah. Was there any theme behind it, or is there?
It's just about escapism.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
There we go. It's just like listening to this podcast. A bit of escape from the mundanity of life. Sweet. Well, as I say, it's been absolutely mint having you here.
Thank you. Good to be on.
For section 10, this is "Runaway" by Ape.
And I can't wait no more.
dream and chaos reigns supreme.
Well, laddie, there we go. We've managed to get to the end of another podcast.
Another one.
That makes it episode 19 of the Hardcore Histories.
Flying by.
That's amazing. They're absolutely flying by. We're gonna be hitting
all the love that we got at Res from random people just walking up to us saying how much they love the podcast.
Dude, it was so nice.
Away.
It was so nice. It really did blow you away at points when people who just didn't know. There was this guy, he was wearing a particularly bling purple Adidas shirt.
Yeah.
That was proper bling. But he was from Bristol. And I didn't know who he was, and he was like, I know Addie, I know that you are Gavin, I've never met you before, but I love your podcast, mate. And I was just fucking, it blows you away a little bit. Like, your feedback is, as always, very appreciated. We're sorry about the quality of the last two. I've had a bit of an issue with the technical equipment, but it's our read, because I finally bothered me asked to read the instructions and work out the mistake that I was actually making there. Like, so
there should be 100% everybody, not 80% us, 20% somebody else.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and I've got limited editing skills. I couldn't really boost it any further. But we're learning.
It's hard when it's a conversation, though. It would take a lot of time. That's the thing.
That's it. Yeah. But that being said, again, thank you all for tuning in. This is the On the Rave podcast. You can find us absolutely everywhere. We've done it enough times, so you know where to find us. As Addie keeps saying, please leave a review on any of the platforms,
especially iTunes. We really need those numbers up.
Yeah, we don't get any figures back from iTunes. They don't give them to people who run podcasts. So the only figure that we can actually get adapted is the one where people leave reviews and stuff like that, which moves you up the rankings.
Yeah, it helps the podcast amazingly.
Yeah, it would. And it's just really nice to read what people are saying, particularly when it's nice things. But if you want to write bad things, we will read them out as well.
Yes.
Like, I'm not averse to doing rude poems or something like that. So whatever you want to do, let's get it done. We've reached the end of the podcast, so it's time for Addie to delve into his bag of science and pick one tune to end the podcast with. So, Addie, what is in the test tube rack this time?
I didn't have to dig very far. I had to pick up something from the resin. I know I've picked a Die Witness song for science before. I picked The Future, which is an absolute fucker, and that they played that on Saturday, and that was amazing.
Your little face on the hardcore was
yes, I was in my element, literally in my element.
You literally look like you look like the cat that had the fucking cream, mate.
Just watching Elaine Smiley when they played this song was just absolutely amazing. She just literally lit up and she was just running around, hugging people like it was going out of fashion.
It was nice. It was nice seeing Little Smiler.
Yeah, it was wonderful. Nice moment of the night. So this is Die Witness, Master Plan.
There we go. Thank you all for tuning in to the podcast. As I've said, if you want any more of the music that's being played, check out the description. Check out the comment section. We'll drop a few bits and pieces in there. But as always, I have been Gav.
I'm ready.
And we are now officially
off the rave.
Thank you.
Back at the house for 95. Die Witness and the MC Cyclone. Are you ready for the master plan? me see your hands in the air out there. This is the master plan in full effect now. Let me hear ya. Get it up one time now. Wind it up with the master plan. Get it up, king. Here it comes now. Wind it up, Tommy. Oh, don't be slack, don't be one time black. Oh yeah, rocking the house with the master plan. Bring it on down because we got you. We can show you the music for your body, your mind, and your soul. And now we gonna generate the energy and get you moving to the beat with the sound of the 303. Now is the time. This is my place. I'm gonna bust this rhyme. I'm gonna get on the keys. I got some rocky soul, man. It'll make your head turn. Die with this is time to make the floor burn. Break down. Here it comes now. Here it comes now. Everybody, here it comes now. With the 1, 2, 3 on 3. Ah yeah. Once again, set your mind free. Boom, shut up, die witness, got the energy. Well, let's just go sound it out and you don't stop. Party people wind it up and keep it going till you drop that. On and you don't stop. Party people wind it up and keep it going till you drop that. On and you don't stop. Party people wind it up and keep it going till you drop that. On and you don't stop. Party people wind it up and keep it going till you drop great. Cut it off now. Let me see your hands out there.